Hello everyone, welcome back. This is going to be the first video in a series of videos where we're taking the 204R automatic transmission out of this car, and I'm going to put in a TKO 600. That is a 5-speed manual transmission, and it's going to replace the 4-speed overdrive automatic that's in this right now. I've run into a little bit of a snag. I ordered all of the stuff from Speedway Motors. They did a great job shipping everything. The bell housing that I ordered still hasn't arrived yet. At least I can pull the transmission out while I'm waiting for the bell housing to get here. So we're going to start on that today, and it's going to be the first video in the next series of videos of putting a transmission in this car. Okay, so I'm going to run real quick through the plan for the transmission install. What's up, Rick? First, we're going to remove the drive shaft. We're going to remove the automatic that's in there now and the flex plate. We're going to dial indicate the bell housing when it gets here. We're going to measure for the cross member, the shifter, and the drive shaft, all the lengths for all those things. Install the pilot bearing, check the rear main seal, and install the flywheel, clutch, and the motor plate. That goes between the bell housing and the engine. Then we're going to prep the trans, install the bell housing, measure for the release bearing, and bench bleed and install all those components for the clutch release system. Then install the transmission, fabricate a cross member, and order the drive shaft. We should be able to measure length for all that, get a yoke, everything that we're going to need. Install the clutch master cylinder, do the lines, all the linkage, and then bleed the whole system, install the shifter, and then fill the transmission with fluid. It's absolutely 100% don't want to forget that. Then we'll install the drive shaft, put it up on jack stands in the back, give it a test. And then we'll wire up the reverse lights and the neutral safety switch to the transmission, and should be good to go. Today, what we're going to do on this list is remove the drive shaft and remove the transmission itself. I don't have the bell housing here, as I said before, so we're not going to bother with the flex plate and obviously dial indicated the bell housing. But that's what's going on today. Battery's hooked back up. I did have it on a charger for a little bit to keep it in good shape. Oh, we'll get this thing fired up and moved out of here. Choke right there. It has a plunger that goes all the way into the car. That little guy right there. One of the most fun things about this car is climbing into it. Be the last time I pull it anywhere with an automatic in it. Oh, it's so janky. Oh. There it is. Kill it. All right, so let's get to work. Okay, so I got the car up on stands with the wheel off. It's up there secured nice and well. Now, to get to the headers, probably just take this collector off right here, because this whole thing doesn't have to move all the way back here. There's transmission mount over here. That's an interesting way of doing it. Cylinder 5 and 3
Guess it doesn't look too bad. Looks like there's a little oil coming in on this one. Never had one of these apart, so I don't really know like what's acceptable and what isn't. Spark plugs don't look all that bad. Looks like 1 and 7 have the porcelain is almost completely blacked out from oil getting into each of those cylinders. They don't look particularly more oiled down than the other threads, so I don't know.
I'm gonna get in there and try to punch out the old core plug now and get the new one in there.
The core plug might have rusted through because it looks like the paint's peeling back. There's a little spot in there, a little pinhole.
Let's see what we got here. It's just paint coming off. Okay, this is not going well. I'm hoping that I can get in there with this socket and these extensions here from way down here and try to beat this thing out without it just disintegrating. Please don't fall apart, because I don't even know how I'd get it out if it came apart like that. That thing seems like it just does not want to move. Finally yanked that core plug out of there. It is nasty, really nasty.
There she is. So that's cleared out. Doesn't look too bad inside, I guess.
Got the new one right here,
Along with some aviation for my gasket.
gasoline will dissolve the aviation stuff, which is what I have here. I didn't know that when I bought it. I just heard the aviation stuff was good, so I got aviation. Never used this stuff before. Got the new core plug right here. It's dripping everywhere. Oh man, oh, this stuff is gnarly. That is the installation tool. Alright, so looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and get that thing popped in there.
To stick, at least inside before I start hammering it in. There is no good angle to press this in from, because this here is right in the way. So that's my angle going up there. And it really needs to be through this mount right here for the lower control arm. But this is the best angle I can get, so it's gonna have to do. I think we got it now. Just a couple more taps maybe. She's almost there. Looks like that puppy went in there pretty good. If I hadn't taken the headers off, it would have been impossible, I'll tell you that. But that's done, so on to the next thing. So now the drive shaft's gotta come out, so we're gonna do that next. All 1/2 inch, couldn't get a socket in there though. But none of these were over torqued on here or anything like that, so should be able to get this off pretty quick. Ooh, kind of a tight fit to that transmission up there. Next up, the gear selector linkage, which is super duper easy to get to. And it has a 1/2 inch bolt on it. Oh yeah, should be park. Come on. You need a 5/8 inch right here to get this thing off. Looks like just a jam nut. So I'm gonna get that off and then unscrew these to pull all this shift linkage out. Okay. Let's see. What's behind door number 1? Whew. Look at that. What is this? Oh, that is some trick fab work right there. Oh man, I'm almost Almost feel bad about having to take it all apart. Oh my gosh. Holy crap, look at the size of that bolt. That thing's enormous. Does it need to be that long? That's like a 6-inch bolt. What were they thinking? The same thing on the back. What? There's... Oh my gosh, there's a nut on the back of them too. Look at that. Oh, look at how long that bolt is. That is so unnecessary. How am I even going to get those off? I have to get an open-end wrench in from up here. They don't have heads on them. There's no hex head on these. And look, this is like, I guess back here is like a neutral safety switch right there, where it was supposed to be. I never tried starting it in gear, so I don't know if it actually worked or not. Might have to end up wiring that up, but that's perfect because those two wires going down to it, I don't know if you can see them down there. Those two wires going to that neutral safety switch, if it actually works, that's perfect because I can just wire them up to the TKO because it has its own switch. So the wires are already there. Amazing. So, all right, well, I guess I'm going to get to unbolting this. Although I don't know what the length is on the TKO. I haven't measured it because the engine here is moved up forward. So from where the NASCAR engine was. So the Muncie transmissions were kind of short, and that's why the shifter's all the way so far forward on the floor. It's usually like, way up here, but I'm hoping the TKO is a little bit longer than a Muncie, but we'll see. I think it is. So hopefully the shifter comes back somewhere around here so that, I'd like to be able to shift sort from the stock location. This right about here feels just about right. But, who knows? We've got to find out once I get the transmission in or mocked up, or, well, not mocked up, it's going to go in. It's going to go in. So once I get it in, we'll see what it looks like, and then I'll just have to go from there. But yeah, this is the original hole in the floor because it's got these spring-loaded, I think they call them Zeus fasteners, which are, quick release, so you can take stuff apart really fast. And it's got them on, 6 places here. So I think that's the original location, where this is probably the original boot too. Maybe not the aluminum, but the boot's probably, yeah, SFI. You need the boot to be SFI? I guess so. But anyway, I'm getting distracted. I'm going to try to get this shifter, gear selector linkage out of here. Ooh. A whole lot of linkage in there. Come on, buddy. Come on. There you go. That is a lot of linkage. Kind of a bummer here. They welded the Hirsch shifter to this piece of flat stock here, and that sucks kind of. But I think I might be able to cut that off. I think I can cut that off and still use this handle because I'd like to still use this shifter. And maybe I could just cut it off and just drill a couple holes here and here. Call it good. We'll see. This is bananas how long these bolts are. Oh man. Okay, got the shifter out, so that's completely open now. I noticed something. I'm not a big automatic transmission guy, but just curious, for all you guys that are, is this normal? Is that supposed to do that? I would say I hope so, but this transmission's coming out, so it doesn't matter. But that seems like it's not supposed to do that, but I could be wrong. Let me know what you think in the comments. All right, there were some wires zip tied to the transmission. I cut those off, moved them out of the way. The line for the transmission cooler was just coiled and coming back into the transmission, so I had to move the wires up and above that. I think I've got everything disconnected. Drive shaft's out.
So I'm gonna get some jack stands and put them underneath the back of the motor. Once I do that, I'm gonna start unbolting the bell housing bolts, leave just one, and then I'm gonna put a jack underneath the transmission, unbolt the cross member, take that off, and then I should be able to pull the remaining bolt or two out of the bell housing after I disconnect the torque converter from the flex plate, and then I should be able to slide the transmission out and drop it down. Those are the next few steps, and the transmission should be out of the car.
All right, so time to get these torque converter bolts. Easy enough. Well, I'll tell you what, there is a ton of room under here. Get these two top ones out.
I just noticed
That there's something going from the transmission down there, and it comes up here right along the dipstick tube, but then it makes a hard left and goes off into the firewall. And can you guess what it is? That's a TV cable, and it's supposed to go to the throttle linkage on the other side. If you don't have one of these hooked up in a 204R, it will burn up the transmission. So, bet you that's my issue. Now, so anyway, so that's where it is. It's here. It just was not hooked up.
But anyway, that's where the TV cable was. I can't believe I didn't even notice it until now. But it had one hooked up to the transmission. It just wasn't hooked up to the carburetor. And I had no idea because I didn't know about it. Anyway, it is what it is. I've almost got the whole thing completely disconnected. I had it just up on one side, but I took it off the rear jack on the other side, and I put that jack stand up here on the front to get the front up higher. I've got to reposition the jacks underneath the engine to keep the engine level while I'm taking the transmission out. And then I got to get the jack underneath the transmission, remove the cross member, and then I should be able to pull it out. So getting pretty close.
Okay, I've got the weight pretty much completely off the cross member. These bolts wiggle in here. I'm going to pull all the bolts out of the bell housing, and it should be free to come down. I try to aim for center mass with the jack. I don't have someone to help me, so I'm just hoping that my guess is pretty accurate. Should be interesting. I'll definitely have the GoPro running when I do that.
So I just tried to shift the jack underneath the transmission a little bit, and it made a loud crack. So something broke free. I think the transmission started to separate from the case already, but I'm gonna get under there and see if I can't completely work it free and get it down and out of the way. It's about 3/4 of an inch off the block on the other side. Ooh, there it went. Oh, that's scary. Dang. Okay. Easy. All right, now I'm gonna try to lower it down, but it's probably gonna get hung up on the cross member support. Nope. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this out. Okay, so you can see what I'm talking about here. Got the transmission off the motor. It's off quite a ways, but I have to have it up close because if you look underneath here, the pan is right in between this cross member, the two cross member mounts here and here, and it is landing on them hard. So I've got it off the side here, and I'm going to try and see if I can lower just this side and tilt it and get it off of this, get down under this first, and then hopefully move it over enough that I can get it off of this. But I'm afraid it's going to have to tilt quite a bit to do that.
I think when they put this in here, they put the whole thing in as one unit, the engine and transmission. In fact, I'm certain they did. But anyway, I already tried jiggling it quite a bit. Lost some coolant. Lost some transmission fluid out of the back here. But I think that's going to be my only option, unless I want to stab the transmission again and pull the motor and trans, which I definitely do not want to do. So we're going to try it like this. I'm just going to freaking go sick and see if I can't get it out of here. That's not what I want either. Oh. Come on, buddy. I need you to tilt this way ever so slightly. Dang, I don't know if I can do this. Oh, it's hitting the header. It's hitting the header over there. Crap!
I had to take the header out over here. It's almost out. I got all the bolts out of it, but I got to pull it out because that loop for the transmission cooler bypass was sitting on top of the header. So I had to pull the header off because I'm having a real hell of a time getting it out. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull it out. I might have to get a cherry picker, lift the motor up, and pull it forward just so that I can get the transmission out. But either way, I'm going to keep plugging away at it, and hopefully I can get it done tonight, but we'll see. Well, I'm pretty glad I took the spark plugs out. This one is wet down inside. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but it's wet down there. It smells horribly like gasoline. And let's look on the side. And the ceramic is cracked. And it's been arcing. It's cracked in 3 places all the way up and down. It's kind of hard to see. You have to be real close, but see, I think you can see right there. But none of these other ones smelled like fuel when I took them out, so had to be. But that's good to know. Maybe that's why it was running a little rough, and that was probably why. Oh. So, gonna get a new set of spark plugs when I put it all back together. Gotta remember to do that. Okay. After much fiddling, looks like the only way this is gonna happen is if the entire transmission gets twisted this way so that it will clear that right there. The pan has to clear that this way, and then the whole transmission can turn back that way again, slide out this way. Now, the problem with that is that I have it up on a jack, and I'm only one person. There's only one of me here, so it's gonna have to come down and at an angle this way, in a manner that makes me extremely uncomfortable. However, I can't see any other way to get it out. So I may have to just, I mean, everything's out of the way. The only thing I could hurt, really, is the transmission or myself. Don't want to hurt myself, certainly. Not too bothered about the transmission. Alright, I just got to figure out a way to tilt it. If I can tilt it, it'll probably turn, and if it comes off the jack, it'll hit this right here. And hopefully when I lower it, it'll just slide down and correct itself. I'm hoping that that's what it does, but I don't know that it will or not. I guess we'll find out. All right, attempt number 1. Oh, man. Woo-hoo. Ooh. Ooh. That's not good. That's not good. Okay. It's all right, baby. It's okay. Oh, man. Oh. Guess what? This transmission's ruined. Oh, shit. Oh, man. Whew. Oh. Oh, crap. Oh, it's spilling everywhere. Come on, come on. You're almost there. Come on. There it is. Oh, holy crap. Dang. Oh, it smells awful. Ugh.
I gotta do, yeah. I just snapped a big chunk out of the case. Okay, fair enough. That's my bad. That's my bad. I'd probably still run like that. It's out though, and that's all I care about. I don't like automatic transmissions anyway. Oh, get hooked on there. Man. Oh, come on. Yeah, this thing's heavy. Whew. So let's survey the damage, shall we? So it looks like this came in contact with something on the way down. Took a pretty hefty chunk out of it. Torque converter looks pretty rusty, but otherwise, I don't know. I don't know what kind of shape that's in. Seems kind of wobbly in there. Just like the tail shaft back here. So that seems like an awful lot of play. Maybe all automatic transmissions are like that, but that seems like a lot of play. But anyway, it's out. Oh, it's out. And that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying these videos, please subscribe. We're up to 396, I think it was last time I checked, which is cool because the last video I released, I think it was like 350. So there's small numbers to most people, but to me that's big. Thank you for the 50 people or 30, 40 people that have subscribed already since the last video, and thank you for subscribing if you subscribe right now. You guys take care. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. So what's up, man? What'd you think? Got that transmission pulled out of there. It's pretty scary when that thing fell off the jack, am I right? Yeah, me too, buddy. Okay. So, Driveshaft is out. 200R4 is out. We're just gonna check on that side because there's another side to this right here. So this done. 200R4 out. Still got a long way to go, but step by step, we'll get there.